Hi, I'm Beck Morley and this is my story. So my name's Beck Morley and I have 3 beautiful children. I'm a single mum. I didn't have a great year in 2016. The kids, we had learning difficulties with the kids. I'd had a few financial difficulties and I was quite frankly really lost. That time I just locked myself away. I didn't want to speak to anyone. I didn't quite understand what I was doing on the earth. I wasn't even quite sure whether I was supposed to be here or not, to be quite frank. I was diagnosed with clinical depression, spent 8 weeks in bed, and if it wasn't for, the grace of God obviously, but if it wasn't for the 3 kids, they got me out of bed in the mornings. So that was a horrible, really dark, horrible time, and back then I couldn't see a pathway. What that did allow me to do though, which was quite amazing in hindsight, was because I didn't want to get out of bed, all I did was just listen to podcasts, and about 2 weeks into just being in bed, I thought, oh no, I'll start to read the Bible and try and reacquaint myself with some sort of message, or I just really was in that place where I needed some guidance and I needed to reach out, and I really needed answers. And I was desperately seeking some sort of sense of purpose, why I was here, what was going on. There had to be a bigger plan, and I was hoping that I got an answer back. And I did. God, in his most amazing way, started to show me the smallest little details to be grateful for. At the end of 2016, my mum had given me a passion fruit vine. I'd never looked at it again. I'd thrown the thing in the ground, and I remember coming out of bed one day, and it was about 10 o'clock and the whole ward was functioning and I really wasn't. And I remember sitting outside and just having a cup of tea and thinking, that passion fruit vine has gone from, this in the ground, and there was purple passion fruits all over the thing. And it was, I know it sounds really bizarre, but it was so beautiful, and it was such a gift. And I was like 20 minutes looking at passion fruit vine. It was just, and I remember thinking at the time, oh, this has to be a turning point. This is just, the world's too great to not be in it. The world's too, it's just, anyway, it was just amazing. It was just an amazing, amazing, amazing turning point for me. At the end of 2016, I made a promise that I would investigate, or that I would put in 2017, a whole lot more time into the Word and to try and discover what God's big plan was for me. And it was really important that I did that. I really wanted to learn more about what my God-given purpose was. And I kind of, I didn't quite know how to go about that, but I just knew that I wanted to learn more. So I was going to church and I was singing these amazing songs, and I was looking at nature and having this appreciation for nature, and I was reconnecting with my kids and apologising to them for being in bed for 8 weeks and just, fend for yourself, guys. And 2017, I had the most amazingly miraculous year. It started with actually in January, a friend of mine, we would walk every morning, and on Friday mornings we would walk to the top of Tomaree, and that we would call it Favour Friday, and we would pray at the top of Mount Tomaree. And we would take a passage up to a couple of times we just open the Bible and go, okay, whatever you need us to read and learn, that's fine, that's what we'll go with. And we would spend some time up there and we would just talk about, what we've been reading and what we've been learning and sharing, and just thanking God for what he had created. And up there it's not hard because you're looking out over all this amazing, amazing view. And it was all about whatever we'd learned in that week. It was all about discussing that and trying to get the meaning out of it, and how we could be better people, and just how we could start to example to people. And as we went further on through the year, these amazing opportunities started to happen, and opportunities to share my story with other people, and it was just an incredible, incredible year. we went to Colour. We went to the Colour conference in Sydney. I'd never been at anything like that before. The girls at the church invited me down and I went, I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to go with the church, but I went separately. And I just recall sitting in this crowd with 10,000 people, and the first sermon or the first message was about being found in the field, and it gets real goosebumpy, and they were talking about Rebecca in the Bible, and it was almost like they were just talking to me, and the 10,000 people just disappeared, and it was at that point that I was going, okay, God, I get it. I get that I don't need to be a thing, a label. I just need to be the best person that I can be in my own situation, in my own community, in my own situation. I was too focused on trying to be something that I was not, thinking that I wasn't good enough in my own circumstance. And I realised that that was all wrong. Like, it was all wrong. I didn't need to be sad and apologetic and depressed and upset with my own situation. My own situation is beautiful in my own situation. And that's the situation that God has put, like, that's our life. So for me to sit there and not be happy with that was a real eye-opener, you know. So the message I got back from Colour was, you don't need to pretend to be anything you're not. You just need to be brilliant at being you, because God created you as you, and that's all you need to be. And it was the biggest light bulb moment. I can't even tell you. It was just the most amazing light bulb moment. What transpired after, you know, lots of praying and certainly lots of research and certainly, you know, digging in, was that there is nothing wrong with helping people, and your God-given purpose is to help people. If anyone was to say, you know, you have a special gift, I just like to help people. It makes me feel good. I like helping people. And I know that that's my God-given purpose, is that I'm here on this earth just to help people. And I'm okay with that now. I wasn't for a long time, but I'm actually okay with that. The two things that came out of that, one was an idea about a wellness centre, which we ended up opening in October last year. And that was about just creating a sense of peace and a place for people to feel safe, and for them to give them enough space just to consider, just to sit in space from, you know, like our busy schedules, and, you know, we're so tied up with everything these days, just to go and sit and appreciate and get some perspective on I am alive, and, you know, nature is beautiful, and just to be really grateful for the smallest things, like the smallest little things. And the other was the business that we're in today is Spark Co-work, which is all about creating a space for small business owners who aren't, you know, recognised by authorities, and, you know, they're just usually individual people, and they're just slogging it out, doing it tough, and they're in their own gifting, and they just need to be supported in that. So those two amazing projects happened. I also, after 4.5 years, I was going to try and get my home loan for the kids, so we could purchase our house. I had never had a problem in not purchasing a house before, so for me it was really unknown territory. And then when I spoke to the 4 banks and they all turned us down, I was beginning to think, oh, you know, this is horrible. This is really horrible. I'm never going to be able to own up, you know, I'm never going to be able to have a safe spot for the kids again. So middle of the year, I decided God showed me that I had to, and it was God-given. There was a business card that was given to me completely out of the blue. I rang a gentleman, and he not only 8 weeks later were we successful in getting the home loan, which was just extraordinary. It still gives me goosebumps. But it ended up being a windfall of $25,000. I was just floored, completely and utterly floored. And that $25,000 was a gift. I honestly believe it shouldn't have come to me. It shouldn't have come to me. So it was almost like God saying, so I need you to go and develop this space where people can be, you know, they can create and they can connect and they can collaborate and they can be supported in their small business. And at the same time, don't worry about the money. If it's God-given purpose, it's going to happen. And I kept getting, I know this is going to happen. And I had no idea why I kept getting that. But it was almost like, don't worry about that stuff. If this is your purpose, if things get moved or they get given to you, or, you know, it was amazing. It all just unfurled. So not only was I completely connected back into God, I was given this huge opportunity to open these 2 businesses. Not only that, my children who, we had lost a bit of relationship because I had kind of given up, I'd just given up. So God was amazing in being able to reconnect me with the kids and meet them where they're at as well, and I'll forever be grateful for that. And I'm just so incredibly, I'm still in amazement. I'm still amazed. So what's been on my heart in the summer holidays is to share my story, and I think we've got an obligation. I've been given this huge gift, and I feel like I need to tell the whole world about it. So I'm just incredibly grateful, and that's my story really.